I would say this is the definitive best guard ranking of all time. No one else has ever ranked guards to this level, this intricately, with this much thought, with this much prowess.
And structure.
And so structure, it's an incredibly structured list. So welcome back to the FloGrappling show. We're busting a little bit of the Mr. Roboto there to that intro. But as always, I'm Trey Robinson. We got FloGrappling's Joe right there. And then we got Uncle Reed sitting over there. And then Big Slack Barrett on the ones and twos on the side desk. All right. Today, we've decided that it's time for us to become a structured, well-ordered show, all right? None of the tomfoolery and hijinks that you guys have known to come and love on this programming. From here on out, we will be a fairly structured show, at least in the beginning of this episode. So we're going to talk a little bit about a little bit of a weekend roundup, if you will, what's been going on, what hasn't been going on in the jiu-jitsu community. We're going to bring you all of that straight to your ear lobes or your inner eardrums if you have headphones in, which may or may not lead to long-term brain issues. I don't know, dude. But that's the type of stuff as a structured show we're going to be able to try and discover.
We're going to get to the bottom.
We're going to get to the bottom of that. We're also going to talk a little bit about, maybe just a general schedule for some jiu-jitsu stuff coming up. I know it's been hard for me to even keep track with all the happenings in the jiu-jitsu world. We're going to cover some rankings. And then I think towards the end, we're going to tier list the best guards in jiu-jitsu. So stick around for that. But let's kick it off. There's been some news in the jiu-jitsu community, some rumblings of some things. The biggest stuff, being, something, Joe, you were writing about this. You kind of want to set this one up for us? What's going on out there?
I'm happy to. Last week, Professor John Danaher, the head of Team New Wave, came up and posted something on Instagram. It was kind of a health update, but he had some major news in there. John, for people who've been following him, has always had a messed up hip, leading back to an old knee injury that he had. And I'm cool.
This is structured.
I'm maintaining. I'm getting a demerit for that. Has a leg injury, had to get his hip replaced. That's a big deal, right? For anybody who wants to be on the mats involved in jiu-jitsu. Now he has to go and he has to get his other hip replaced, and he's looking at 2 knee replacements to go along with some other stuff. And so this is all leading to him saying that it is likely, or at least possible, that he is going to have to step away from high-level competitive coaching for a while. This is a guy who's coaching Helena Cravar, very young champion, newly ranked #1 in the world. Gordon Ryan, of course, Gary Tonin, Giancarlo Bodoni, Luke Griffith, Big Dan, all these incredible new wave guys, not to mention the guys that he's coached in the past. It would be a crazy loss, right, for us to not have John Danaher in the corner saying, 10 minutes to work, Mr. Luke Griffith.
I saw a reel recently that was just like, John Danaher doesn't use a timer during rolls, and it was like some real I was like, I thought that everyone knew that at that point, but maybe not. It's like maybe there are still some secrets in that camp. But
at this point, he's been running practice every day for the last 50 years. He knows how long 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Of course, he kind of does his own thing there. So
here's how I think John legitimately does rounds, having been in that room a couple of times. He's watching one round in particular that he thinks is really interesting, and when he's tired of watching that round is when he will call time.
Yeah, but it's like watching, going back and looking at our video clips in the rounds, because I'm always because sometimes he'll say, say they're preparing for a Who's Number One, or they have a big, Luke Griffith is on Who's Number One, 2 weeks from now. They'll have kind of a focused round on Who's Number One. He'll say, all right, run around, grab a new partner. Next round, 15 minutes, WNO rules, time on. Mm-hmm. And then, he'll start, and it's like when I watch the video back, it's 15 minutes.
I guess it's not that hard to be like, okay, it's 3:05 right now. And
good point.
At 3:20, I will stop the
match. Think he's using a clock? But
we're going to check the math on that, pal.
to talk a little bit about this, to give context around this, one thing that's interesting about John is I've never, in my time at Flow, my time filming in the New Wave room, I've never watched John roll. I think you've seen John roll before, but the impressive thing about John, even late, up to this point in his career, he always shows the move. That's one thing that's because that he does have a lot of things like his hip and knee, everything, where it's all right, it's inhibiting him from doing a lot of jiu-jitsu himself, but he kind of will perfectly show the move, and then the students will take it from there and stuff. stuff.
And even in like the blue basement days when before he got his hip replacements and stuff like that, he always used to teach gi and no gi classes kind of in that blue basement bottom room.
That's
At the
right.
same time.
Actually, I've been for one of those. Yeah,
Yeah, at the same.
Yeah.
And he would always put the gi top on
Exactly.
and throw somebody, you know, like he would always start it off with a takedown or something like that, you know, and he pulled no punches on the throws. Like you were like, oh shit, John's got some heat behind those throws for sure and stuff. So he was always like kind of getting in there physical and stuff. And I think less and less as the hip replacements came, and then in Austin and stuff, he's really just kind of, you know, overseeing the class now.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the other guys kind of do some stuff, but he still teaches, you know, the techniques, you know, even today. So.
Not to totally derail, but it's so funny to think back about that. I sort of forgot that because I had taken a few classes up there where, he would put on the gi jacket immediately after showing a no-gi technique to show a gi technique. And it's so funny just how different the sport is now. Where it's like most people are not...
Now, could you imagine?
Could you imagine someone teaching no-gi and gi in the same class, and on this side of the room you got the no-gi people, and on this side of the room you got the gi
dude.
people?
So yes,
exactly.
yes, I can, because I was recently in the New Wave room when Dorian was getting his black belt. Hopefully a video coming out soon about that. Congratulations, Dorian. And over on the side was Patrick Gaudio and Helena Cravar, both in the gi training for, I assume, Pan Ams.
Yeah.
And so, everybody was doing this no-gi class, but then John would go over and kind of like instruct them on what he expected of them. And this is actually what I want you guys to drill. Totally different. It's not like it was like closed guard, no gi over here. And actually in the gi and closed guard, you guys want to do this. It was a totally different technique. So he is actually still doing that, but just in a much more focused environment.
And then on the opposite side, AOJ, you know, we definitely think of them as the more traditional gi school, but it's great to hear that they're still keeping the no gi alive, and it's great to hear that John is still keeping the gi alive. You know, it's like this really centric no gi team, really centric gi team, and they are still crossing over. So.
It seems obvious. I don't know. It's just kind of cool though, because so many places these days it really is
Specialists.
like all no gi class, or just for a class slot,
Yeah.
right? It's like tonight is 6 p.m. is no gi or gi, and you don't usually encounter like mixed classes. It's just kind of cool.
Definitely. It's a very cool thing. I think for this news specifically, so this isn't like an official...
Yeah, nothing official. We're just spitballing here. Obviously,
kinda,
we don't know John's full intentions here, but he did put an Instagram post out there recently that definitely had piqued our interest and piqued our for the future of the sport. I don't know if we can talk about if we think that John Danaher is the greatest jiu-jitsu coach of all time, or if that's a debate even to be had. But
I think at this point, I do think you got to give it to him. I don't know. Like it feels like it, at least right here, right now, like with all the students' accolades. But this, he kind of, you can read the full post. We need maybe unabridged John Danaher or abridged John Danaher to that Instagram account to come back to. There's a lot of words for a lowly jiu-jitsu guy like myself.
I'm still getting through all the words, to be honest.
If I could, we could have it up on the screen, but what the most interesting part is, I hope that given enough time, I can return to high-level coaching. That's really like the key phrase, right? I hope that given enough time, I can return to high-level coaching. John takes his coaching very, very seriously. He is not going to do it half-assed. He's not going to be standing on the side, just kind of like pointing and directing traffic. He wants to be in there coaching, instructing, passing down this knowledge. And it sounds like he's expecting like there will be a gap where he is not in charge. And he is still going to be expecting his students to continue progressing, continue the mission. I would expect that Gordon takes over the team. I heard even like back in like 2016, like if anything were to ever happen to John, Gordon takes over the team the next day. There will be no interruption. They've already figured all this out.
Gary's also obviously still in the mix with all that stuff, kind of like a senior student there and everything. He mentions in it that he will potentially could take a step back and focus more on recreational stuff. So maybe that's like the Hinzo Gracie Austin kind of class he's already been doing and everything. But overall, like what I think this means for the team, I don't see John not being like the patriarch of the new wave system still, and kind of like still being like the puppeteer and the ringleader of everything that's happening. But it feels like maybe it's like Gordon is like actively running that comp class, or someone in that place, Gary, is actively running that comp class and kind of saying, like showing the technique, showing what's going on until John is able to like fully recover and everything, make his way back to it. Do you guys think it changes much for New Wave?
I think it has to.
Yeah,
I
really?
think that, I mean, for as much as John's students are a reflection of John, right? They all use similar phrasing. They all have a good skill set around teaching. I think that they're still going to get really high level instruction, but you don't replace the guy who taught all that. You know what I mean? pass along and you pass down this knowledge, but it is still different. These guys are not John. And I think that you cannot replace him. You can just, do the Moneyball thing, recreate him in the aggregate the best you can and move on. And but I don't think it can be the same. Maybe it'll be better for all I know. But it's definitely going to be a change for the team.
It truly would be a sad day that John is no longer involved or coaching jiu-jitsu or anything like that. Just because, like, man, just the last, 10 years of jiu-jitsu has really just been like the meta that he's created, has permeated throughout the entire sport of jiu-jitsu. Like, we are here now largely in part because of like the way John has approached,
no doubt,
competition, the way he's approached teaching and everything like that. It's changed not only his team and like the teams that are associated with him, but all of jiu-jitsu, So to think that like we won't have somebody kind of, forging a new path and constantly looking at what the new meta is and stuff like that, like that is kind of a sad thing to think about, to be honest.
I was just talking to Corey about this. Corey Stockton, rest in peace. Who used to be on the show, but we were talking about how just influential John has been to everybody, just in the naming of things, right?
Yeah.
You hear everybody talk about back exposure. You hear everybody talk about inside position. You hear everybody using these phrases, Kazushi, and off balancing, and entering the legs and things like this. Just little phrases that you don't even really realize.
They've just become commonplace.
Everybody uses. The 10th Planet guys are using them. The AOJ guys are using them. Obviously the New Wave guys are using them. Everybody's using these phrases. So he influenced us so much more than just like technically, where he really was revolutionary. But even just rhetorically, he's been crazy revolutionary.
And I feel like in that like 2017 time frame, when like I feel like kind of they're at their peak, and John was, and everybody was just, there was so much mystique around it. Everybody was trying to figure out what they were doing and how they were doing it, and the leg locks and stuff. And so, yeah, I think it'll definitely change a lot of, I think, obviously Gary or Gordon can definitely do a great job. They're extremely knowledgeable, have been there, can relate what it's like to being in the finals of the biggest competitions and stuff like that. So like, you want to have that aspect of thing. But the way John, he has a breadth of knowledge, not only of jiu-jitsu, but of every martial art, of every grappling art, like the way he can talk about judo, the way he can talk about wrestling, the way he can talk about all these sports. Like he just has it all up there, and they've benefited so much from just like the research and the knowledge that this dude has. So
I think even, let's say there's a world where John Danaher's not in the room, I still feel like then you get John Danaher who's just watching nonstop combat sports stuff on his phone or whatever it is, and so he's like I would picture it as a situation, and this is obviously speculation, where he's still funneling all of this new stuff, or honestly old stuff that he's like putting into the cycle, or like getting into the current meta that New Wave is trying to set, or like get an edge on the competition. He's like funneling that through kind of his main guys, and then they're like actively the ones executing on it in a team practice.
And it says he's going to be doing a lot more recreational coaching, so I think that means great stuff for hobbyists. That means good stuff for people who are just trying to learn the sport from day one. Like, I think if you got John Danaher as your coach, you're gonna learn a lot.
I actually am not so sure that it'll be, in all speculation, Gary's so focused on his MMA career and also has his academies out in Jersey and everything that he's still running. Gordon's health is also a question mark in terms of being in the room day to day. I don't know how reliable that is. Maybe 100% reliable and there's no issue. But I also think there is some question marks around who exactly does step up. We look at some of these more senior members. I think there are a few question marks. Maybe it is somebody like Giancarlo or something.
Even like some of the lesser guys that people might even not know is like Luis and Fernando. Those guys have been there, at now every day with John for the last 5 years or so. So even those guys, I feel like could have a claim to becoming a coach and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so just talking about the coaching side of things in a general sense, I guess maybe we could get our thoughts out there on it, because I do think like that is a major, and maybe it's always been, but it just seems so clear that you do need that like main coach in charge of specifically the competition pro class, So if you look across the board, across all of these elite teams and everything, even like B team kind of notoriously didn't have a coach for that minute, but then they brought in Dima to kind of be like that head guy in charge of like the ADCC CJI camp, and like make sure, everyone was like, no, we actually do need to set a very specific, like this is the day we're focusing on this thing for this reason, this style of training, these types of rounds. It feels like just an integral part of the modern sport jiu-jitsu meta is like you need that guy for sure. So I think John would know that.
And there are a lot of other great coaches out there as well. I think Guy Mendez, one of the very best.
Andre, of course.
Yeah, Andre Galvao, of course, one of the very best coaches in the sport. I think we're going to see the next 5 years of Andre Galvao's career. He's really going to transform the way he coaches and the way, he might be the next guy, the new guy.
Yeah, now he's able to just go all in and invest fully in that way.
Yeah, Draculino too.
Draculino,
I feel like is another kind of legendary coach that you have to mention. Is he's probably one of the guys who has like the most black belts in circulation right now, and especially like high level black belts. That dude's given so many black belts out in his career, so like you have to kind of give a nod to those guys.
100%, I agree. I also think that this is a sign that we need to be appreciative of these people while they're here, right? John's such a unique figure, and maybe he's going to be stepping a little bit more out of the limelight. We talk about, Andre over the next 5 years. We don't know. Andre could mess up his back, and he can't be on the mats or something, or, he gets super into pottery and decides he wants to go be, the number one potter. Potter of all time.
Ceramics are in.
Ceramics are so in right now. Or just, whatever. Just life takes a million crazy directions that, we have a lot of awesome coaches right now. And like you said, they're so important to us seeing these great performances and having these great athletes that we get to appreciate, that we need to make sure we're appreciating these guys too.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure. It'll be definitely a crazy time now, watching to see what happens with John and with New Wave, everything. I'll definitely be interested in kind of following along with that, especially into like the ADCC 2026 year and everything, which, is going to be here before we know it. But, all right, so quick. That was a good structured segment, everybody. Good job. Let's give it up to everybody for following a good structured segment.
I was also just going to say real quick, too, that...
We're getting off structure?
Sorry. Just to bring the structure back real quick.
Are we going to have to applaud again? Did we put this in the rundown?
Just that, like, it is a very selfless job, a coach. Yeah, it is. And, like, when you go to these big tournaments, every tournament like we do, and you see Andre running around for 10 days straight, losing his voice.
On day 3.
And John as well. I remember going to the trials and John sitting mat side with a notebook and pen and kind of just like writing down what the trends are and kind of studying, non-new wave athletes and stuff like that. So like,
actually he was just writing all work and no play makes John a dull player. No.
So like I understand like wanting to kind of like get away from it too, to be honest, because like it is a lot and he genuinely is in there every day. So what are we smiling about?
Nikki was making fun of me because I just put on chapstick while we were recording. But, dude, there's been some negative talk about chapstick in the office and stuff. People call
Ray always
People dropping the G word about using chapstick and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll use chapstick till the day I die, bro. You'll never catch me. If you ever see me out in the wild, ask me if I have chapstick on me. I do. Yeah. Like 100% fact.
It gets chilly out there. Mm-hmm. It gets chilly out there, and your lips start cracking. You're like, come on.
And I lay smooches. Simple as that, man. I lay smooches.
I'm not a handshake guy or a hug guy. I'm a smooch guy.
Yeah, so I need them soft and supple because I be laying smooches on them. But, all right, so that was a good structured segment. We already did our clap, so we can't clap again. But now,
we could.
As a structured segue into a new segment, I want to tell you guys about an idea I have before we get into our official next jiu-jitsu segment.
Was this on?
Is it chapstick that delivers nicotine?
No. This is an unofficial segmented segment that was not on the rundown, but it was segmented to not be on the rundown as part of the structure.
If you say so.
I was talking to Slack about this, dude. What do you guys think about this idea? I want to shoot a spaghetti western style new intro for the show.
Okay.
All right. Set to Marty Robbins' Big Iron, which tells the story of a ranger who goes to seek out this outlaw Texas Red who at that point I believe 20 men had tried and 20 men had failed, and the ranger would just be 21 for old Texas Red. And then eventually the ranger is able to overcome Texas Red, and Texas Red hadn't even cleared leather yet before the ranger pulled the Big Iron and put him on his butt. But I want to shoot a spaghetti western style. There we go.
Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say.
I feel like we're getting some footage right now. We're getting some good footage.
Trey, you gotta show up dressed as that guy for the next podcast. The black hat.
It's a sick outfit.
Yo, I actually have a fun
That's
fact
not
about
that
this.
different from
the way that I discovered
All right,
this
pause
song.
it so we don't get demonetized.
Yeah,
though.
true. Sorry, don't demonetize us. The way I discovered the song, I was at a Cage Warriors event in San Diego. If you don't know about Cage Warriors, they're one of the big
Awesome.
promotional MMA organizations. A lot of people move on from Cage Warrior championships to the UFC. And
I believe Conor McGregor among
Conor
them. Yeah.
McGregor, Paddy the Baddy, many people. But Fighter came out and his walkout song was Big Iron. It was
Pretty
the
epic.
first time that I'd ever heard this song. And it was frightening to watch someone come out to such a lovely old Western ballad. But like the context of the song, I can't remember if he won or lost, but now this is one of my
Let's say he
favorite
won.
songs
Why
for sure.
not?
Let's just say he won. Yeah, this is one of my favorite songs. I've got the record at home.
What's everybody's favorite spaghetti western movie then? In what style?
That's a good question.
I like the Italian influenced spaghetti western by the director that you know.
Okay,
Say his name.
Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Exactly. One of my favorite directors out there of spaghetti westerns. Obviously, Tombstone is up there for one of the best.
Yeah, all time.
But I want to shoot a spaghetti western style intro to that, where it's like a bunch of just like freaking crash zooms and whip pans and whatnot, just whoosh, and just like us looking to camera.
Mm-hmm.
And my vision for you, Reed, in this intro,
Ooh.
I think you should just be like a big burly grizzled frontierman type of guy, like just leaning against the bar and just like having a drink, and everyone around you is just fighting and like throwing.
I got
people,
too excited
like,
thinking about
yeah.
Reed at the bar.
Yeah, ready? Whip pan. Whoa, there he is. Yeah, but this is the thing. You're whip pan. There it is. But you're just like unbothered while the whole bar is fighting around you until some guy like bumps into you while he's in a fight and you spill your drink, and then you just like look at him like all unbothered and you just grab him with one hand and like take out the biggest guy, throw him through the doors, and then as you throw through the doors, you're like doing this, just. And then you just like look to camera.
Get back to my drink.
And it just like crash zooms on you right there where you're just like, yeah. Oh, whoa, the camera's getting crazy. Yeah.
To be honest, I love it.
I know. I think it would be epic, right?
I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
you
think,
want to shoot something where I look like a total badass?
Yeah.
I can
okay.
clear up some time. Yeah.
but we could all pick characters. Like, I don't know what would you want to be, Joe? Like maybe a sheriff or an outlaw?
Some kind of turncoat I feel like would really like suit
All right.
me well. I don't know why.
You
but,
could be like you could be the guy at the like a gambling table who's like he's
Trying to,
sleeving
like,
aces and then it really
perfect.
sets it all off.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Nikki, our producer, just said he wants to be the love interest. Of course,
damsel in
He'll
distress.
of course, be
Sticky
Slack's love
Nikki.
interest. Honest, I want to be an outlaw, of course, not because I feel like I am, but
course,
because
wanna
it's
be an
something I've
outlaw.
always aspired to be, yet haven't fulfilled in my life.
I back in college, I was in a Shakespeare play called The Taming of the Shrew.
Sure.
Ooh.
And I played Petruchio, classic role.
Nice.
And we did it though in the style of a western, and we had a bar fight in the
It was pretty cool.
in the show.
Yeah.
We all dressed up as cowboys. It was super sick. It was
Sounds
super
sick.
fun.
Rules.
I just want to throw in my favorite Western is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
All day.
I was gonna say that my favorite western is El Topo.
Dude,
that's
I
a
was
good
going to
one.
say El Topo.
No way.
There
And
we
then
go.
I was like, that's like too left field. You should throw in a classic.
That's a deep cut.
That's
but
a good one.
My
you, see
act-
you see El Topo?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, hell yeah.
My actual favorite is the Ballad of Buster Suggs by the Coen brothers.
Buster Scruggs.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that was an unsegmented segment about segments.
All right. Well, here's my unsegmented segment about segment. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I don't got nothing.
You guys want to jump into rankings?
Yeah,
Or
let's
you
look
wanna
at
do
some
a little rank
rankings
and talk.
now. But let us know in the comments if you want to see that spaghetti western style intro. I think it'd be epic, dude. But
Also, let us know your favorite Western.
yeah, or your least favorite western. Yeah, we didn't mention Rango,
Rango's a classic.
but we'll let the fans mention Rango. All right, let's look at these rankings. We're gonna kick it off looking at the men's pound for pound ranking. Joe, all right, you are the official rankings maker of FloGrappling.com.
I am
Talk us
that.
through this. What's going on with these men's pound for pound rankings?
Sure. Number one is still Gordon. He will hold that spot, even though it seems like he is now retired. We're giving him the same grace period we would give anybody. For example, we gave Liz Clay when she was out. Everybody gets the same rule. 1 year from the date of your last competition. That is when you will come out of the
knows,
rankings.
though? We'll see.
Or maybe he comes back and, we get more data and he gets ranked accordingly. Maybe he doesn't.
Data, I just meta.
There you go. But, even though his resume, he hasn't been nearly as active as he once was, he's still picked up so many impactful wins. He has such a winning streak, hasn't been beaten in so long. That's really difficult to rank Gordon anything but number one. And we do. Outside of that, I went with Cade Ruotolo. Big wins over guys like Mika, won CJI, which was a crazy, crazy bracket at 80 kilos. Has beaten all the tough guys you could put in front of him. Would love to see him more often. Cade Ruotolo is number 2. And then Kainan Duarte, who will be in the main event of WNO 27. Tickets on sale now. Is our number 3 with that double gold. Crazy big performance from him. A lot of this is heavily influenced by ADCC. Obviously, all those champions are going to be super high. CJI as well. Champions are on there and kind of moving things around.
You know, just looking at this, and I know that there's an algorithm to everything. But,
Not really. I'm mostly just deciding.
You know who just like feels low to me, and as a guy, I just like feel it is like kind of that in the top 3 pound for pound.
I think I agree.
Is Felipe Pena.
That wasn't who I was going to say, but that is a good call.
I feel like Felipe Pena, like every time I watch Felipe Pena, I'm just like, this dude's the best in the world.
So
like,
Felipe has a really strong resume, obviously ADCC champion beating Luke Griffith. He did have some earlier losses to guys like Craig. He had a submission loss to Marigali, which was very tough for him in a pound-for-pound sense. So while Felipe is top 5 in his weight class and is obviously one of the best guys in the world, he has had some inconsistent results that lead that a little bit lower, especially when his win coming off of ADCC. The only fight we've seen with him was Declan. Declan, obviously a great guy, but not like a pound-for-pound talent by any means. Where do I have Pena? 9th?
9th. I think
could
it's
put
fair.
him above Pato, but I think that, it could be a little bit 9. Something that's working against him, pound for pound's a little tough for the heavier guys, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I understand.
How do you look at pound for pound for someone who doesn't know?
I look at it a little bit more as dominance, but I also will give you a lot of credit if you are able to beat bigger people. Right? For the most part, it's like, how good are you in your weight class? What skills are you showing that make you not just the best in your weight class, but one of the best in any weight classes? I'm obviously comparing a lot of incredible resumes here. So when I say this guy's above this guy, it's by like this much. But, you know, Pena's right now is behind a guy like Pato. Pato has tapped out Dante, who's very high on that list. Pato has beaten, Baby Shark by submission, who's above him. So it's tough to knock Pato back too much more. And I think that this ranking is pretty fair.
Who are you going to say, Trey?
I was actually going to say Nicky Rod. I feel like maybe I know some reasons. It's like he has a loss to Victor Hugo on WNO, which was like a year ago. So that's another thing I guess maybe you could give context around is like how far back does the competition record go for what you're taking into account? You know, how much of a recency bias is there, whether inherently or just like you're choosing to pick recent outcomes as a bigger thing. But Nicky Rod to me, just like, and I'm going off of like the smell
Vibes,
test,
yeah.
I guess,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
like
Me
just
too.
like a clear, a more like a less structured, more just like who's the best guys. And to me, it's like Nicky Rod at CJI was unreal, to be honest.
Good.
Like it was incredible watching him perform there. And I just think like, yeah, dude, Nicky Rod is that guy. 2022 ADCC silver medalist, only lost to Gordon Ryan, you know, the pound for pound #1, came back CJI, just cleaned up, became the $1 million grappler. And I just think like, yeah, when I think of Nicky Rod, obviously he's done some stuff on Fight Pass as well, just kind of, I feel like dominated in Fight Pass. He lost to Gordon.
He's only lost to Gordon.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, yeah, to me, Nicky Rod is the guy who I'm like, yeah, when you think of the best grapplers in the world, Nicky Rod to me is top 5 clearly, right?
So
but I don't know.
You think if he beats Kainan here at who's #1, does he pop up all the way to number 1 or 2?
So, but a couple questions in there. I'll kind of handle them as I got them.
Okay.
First question, how long do I go back? The general ranking period is 3 years. I will weight what has come most recently the most. That is what is most important. But I will keep considering things back 3 years. I will go back further than that if I absolutely need to, if it's like a tie-breaking thing between two people who only fought one time, like if Mika and Cade are 1 and 2. Like if it's even outside that 3 year period, which even still it's not, I still will consider that somewhat if I need to break a tie between 1 and 2. But for the most part, it's what you've done the last 3 years. Second question, Nicky Rod, why is he not higher? Everybody between 10th and 13th, where Nicky is right now, taking the Zin out, are super amped up. They're super close in there, right? Everybody there is separated. That's almost like a lot of coin flip situations. The reason that Nicky Rod's a little bit lower, he has the Victor Hugo loss. He has the Felipe Pena loss, even though he's beaten Felipe Pena, which is a great win. And so what was his last really good win at heavyweight, right? At CJI, his best win as far as like a rankings perspective, Felipe Andrews up there, Adam Bradley is up there. But those aren't pound for pound kind of wins. When you compare a guy like Marigali tapped out Felipe Pena, beat Cyborg, beat Kainen, beat Denise, beat all these ADCC champions by submission in a row, then took a bad loss at ADCC when he got tapped out by Pixley. How do I weight that, a guy with amazing wins, but also a bad loss, compared to a guy who is on a hotter streak, does have some losses, but doesn't have that one really bad loss like he had to Pixley there. So this is where I came up with, I ended up favoring the wins a little bit more heavily than the losses. But Nicky Rod, if he beats Kainen, absolutely vaults into the top 5. Nothing but respect for him. He is ranked, I think, like fourth, I think, at heavyweight, only behind Gordon, Kainen, Felipe, and then it's him. And that's how I kind of came away with things.
Okay. All right.
I do put thought into this.
Everybody flame Joe up in the comments if you disagree. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Let's take a look at another.
It would have been better for Nicky if he did face Victor and if he did get that win back. Even though they were in the same bracket and Victor fell off earlier, just him having that name on his resume, especially because he's lost to Victor twice, would help him.
Yep.
What's the diciest weight class for rankings?
Ooh,
Something to get the people talking.
There's some in the gi that are a little bit difficult.
What about no gi while we're still
no gi,
here?
170 pounds is definitely up there.
Pull
and
it up.
185 pounds, we go
Pull
to
it up,
170.
Slack. 170.
A lot of really amazing guys in this weight class. Number 1, Cade Ruotolo, obviously, he's beaten Mika, won CJI and all that, and things kind of go out from there. It was really hard to rank Dante in this weight class, right? Because he goes to ADCC, loses to Elijah, but then he beats Mika. That's why I have Dante so much higher in the pound for pound, but I do knock him in the weight class, right? But then there's just so many dang good guys who've all beaten each other. For example, Mateusz Szczynski just beat PJ Barch at Polaris. That was like a 15-second armbar. That was crazy.
A sick armbar.
That was crazy. But that was also PJ's third match of the day. It was Mateusz fresh to the mat in a team event where I don't even know what these guys weighed. So I kind of ended up favoring PJ's win over Mateusz at ADCC, where it's definitely much more of a fair situation compared to this. Team events are hard to rank because you don't know necessarily what guys come in weighing. You know, guys will face each other after having already faced a couple of different guys. So to rank them is kind of...
But looking at all 15 of these names right here, it's such a
JT
sick
Torres
list.
is 15th.
That's crazy. I was just looking at that, and it's damn, all 14 guys above genuinely deserve it and are killers.
What do you guys think while we're looking at this 170 top 15 right here? What are the coolest matches at 170? Let's play dream matchmaker. You got all the money in the world, dude. You got the girls, the fame, everything you ever dreamed of, and you decide to put on a jiu-jitsu event. What are the matches you're after?
By the way, I'm going to throw somebody's name in this that could make 170, I believe at least, but hasn't, is not ranked. Tynan is also in the mix.
True. What do you think?
I mean, obviously a lot of great matches on here. I think you can pull out really any two names, but for me, I do really want to see that rematch of Cade and Mika, the 1 and 2, ADCC 2022 final. They haven't met since then. Cade and Mika, obviously they've gone kind of different routes here. Mika put the gi back on, kind of proved he's the number 1 there. Cade's going into MMA, so they are in different places in their life, but would love to see that match again for sure.
Yeah, that'd be an unreal one. I got one that's not necessarily like a 1 and 2 or 3 and 2, 3-4 type of thing, but this one to me is just two incredibly exciting guys. One, the Polish boogeyman, Mateusz Szczynski.
All right.
I feel like everyone is terrified of Mateusz Szczynski, if I'm being honest. It feels hard to make a match for Mateusz Szczynski, and I know plenty of athletes that are not afraid of Mateusz Szczynski, so I don't mean to say it like that, but it's just he has this aura about him, it's everyone knows he has arguably the most dangerous straight ankle lock. He kind of started that whole shotgun grip on the straight ankle,
100%.
just destroying everybody with that. And now it's clear his arm bar is unreal. I know he has a full game. All these guys have full, well-rounded games, but he just seems so dangerous, so scary.
Because he kind of hit this similar arm bar.
Same one on Gary.
On Gary at ADCC, yeah.
And from the keg already reaches up, scoops the elbow, throws himself into it. He commits
quick.
It goes on so fast.
Yeah.
So I think you take the Polish boogeyman, and who do you need to fight the guy that scares everybody? You got to find a kid who has no fear. AKA Andrew Tackett.
I love this.
Andrew Tackett does not have fear, dude. This guy has more confidence just in everyday life than anyone I've ever seen. He's just running around, happy-go-lucky, just murdering people.
He just buzzes on through everybody.
Yeah, he's incredibly exciting. You know, I think it would be a match where Andrew would want to be on top. I think Mateusz would want to be on bottom.
I was going to say, that's like the best guard versus the best passing game right now at no-gi 170.
Right. So it kind of like, I think we would immediately get into some action, whether it be Mateusz pulls or Andrew just goes ahead and just comes out, throws some crazy wrestling at him, and Mateusz either gets taken down or is like, screw it, I'm going down. And then now we're going to get to immediately see an incredible passer against an incredible guard, not just a guard that retains, but like a dangerous guard, a guy who submits people routinely from his guard, and they're just going to be clashing just straight to the jiu-jitsu. You know, sometimes I like watching cool wrestling too, but sometimes it's like, boys, let's get straight to the jiu-jitsu. You know, let's skip the middleman and get right to the action on the mats. And I just think this is a match where it would be electric start to finish, and it would just be electric jiu-jitsu from start to finish. So that's kind of, for me, when I just look at all these, I think like one of the sickest ones.
100%. If I could throw out, I absolutely agree. That would be an unreal match that I would love to see. If I could throw out one just between two big, strong boys who would do big, strong boy stuff, Dante Leon and Jonatas would just be like two meathead guys throwing each other around. Smart meatheads, but regardless. I just think that would be awesome slams, awesome wrestling. Both guys not taking a step backwards. I think that match would be really, really awesome. This is really easy to match make because you can just kind of pick
Yeah,
any
you
two
say
guys,
any names.
and it's like, yeah, that sounds awesome too. Why not? Yeah,
Well,
100%.
because my other one, honestly, just put Levi in the mix with what I already said and just have him fight
Copy
Mateusz
paste,
or him
yeah.
fight Andrew, and it's like unreal. Another unreal one.
Levi versus Joseph Chen.
Levi Joseph Chin would be super sick.
Levi Mika.
Levi Mika. Yeah.
Not a lot of people come out in no-gi and just straight up pull guard on Mika. We have not seen a ton of that, right? We've seen him wrestle with Cody. We see him wrestle with Kenta. Everybody at ADCC was wrestling against him. And his judo is so good that he ties up with these guys. He takes them down. He's usually always in an awesome spot, right? He's deep on an underhook looking for an armbar, or he's on the front headlock somehow. His feet to ground transitions are amazing. So I think that him against just a straight up heel hooking guard player is something that is still kind of a question mark. And I really would love to see Mika take on a guy like Levi, a guy like Mateusz Szynski, one of these just like top of the food chain footlockers.
Definitely.
Slack, you got one?
Yeah.
I'd give a quick shout out to PJ Barch.
Our boy.
I think it'd be cool to see him and Wagner, you know. We
Hell
kind of
yeah.
actually almost got that matchup at ADCC. Had there been one more second on the clock and a very close kind of controversial decision
Big time.
between PJ and Mika. And, you know, he even told me after that match where he won bronze, he was feeling really good, and he would have gone on and been in shape to go up against Wagner, and I think that would have been a really cool match. So that'd be a good one.
A lot of heavy clubs and collar ties in that match.
Yeah,
I
for
feel
sure.
like.
Yeah, but I think it'd be a cool scrap between them.
Definitely. All right. You want to look at the women's pound for pound list?
do it.
Let's check that one out real
Who's over
quick.
here?
Because we are getting a.
This is the
this
gi.
is his
Yeah,
gi. All right,
maple
let me
no
back
gi.
up.
You should be able to just go back to that other page and then do the drop down. Or maybe it's yeah. Just hit the more on the top right. Navigating the FloGrappling site and art
These
of
are
its
actually
own.
These are all
also
male,
gi
so let me
rankings.
back
Go
up.
to the same no-gi rankings that you were just in.
So this is our segment of the show, a structured segment where we bounce between rankings, and it's a very structured thing that we do.
And we show
This
you guys,
is-
women's pound for pound. There you
Boom.
go.
There we go.
This
Boom.
is the most stressful part of my day. Is navigating the
No
rankings
slack.
live.
That's not correct.
Feels like a belt test, and I'm failing.
So
Well, we're gonna do the belt whipping thing at the end for you.
Oompa
For how you
sweep,
handle
got
that.
it.
So right now, obviously the top two, Adele Fornarino and Fionn Davis, and we are getting this match. It's gonna be on Fight Pass, but it's pretty crazy. You don't always get the pound for pound 1 and 2 match to go down, and I assume winner of that one gets the number 1
No
spot
question.
outright.
No question. They are the two most impressive female grapplers in the sport right now. No-gi female grapplers in the sport right now. Fionn, ADCC champion, IBJJF no-gi world double gold medalist, has beaten just a slew of top contenders throughout her time on top. Adele had the big breakout performance last year at ADCC, followed it up with a win on WNO to take home a WNO championship. They're going to meet in the main event Fight Pass, 125 pounds. This is an enormous match. This is the most meaningful match I feel like we've seen for Fionn in a minute, which I'm really excited for. I'm really excited to see her kind of back in the spotlight like this. Adele has been super hungry for this match. no doubt whoever takes this is going to be the number one pound for pound and going to have a really, really strong argument to hold that basically until they lose. It's going to take something very serious for one of these women to lose that top pound for pound spot, whoever wins it. And whoever loses, not going to drop too far. Even though a loss in the pound for pound is going to hurt you, they've both been so impressive. How many people on this list has Adele, who's number one right now, tapped out? She tapped out or beaten at least. She beat number 4. She beat number 5. She beat number 6. She beat a ton of these girls. 8. It was an absolutely insane run. That's 11, why I ended 11. Up 11. That's why I ended up putting her number 1 right now, is because she just has so many consistent wins against the top people that even though Ffion has that win over Adele, like I said, 3 years, and we're weighting recent results so much more heavily, that she had just done so much that I couldn't just base it off of one win in 2022 anymore. I had to go ahead and move Adele to that number 1 spot. She's just done so much.
Yeah, when I think about that Adele-Ffion match, like I really don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's like both these girls have been so dominant. We haven't really seen a chink in their armor, like at all. You know, so I feel like when I think about Adele versus Ffion, it's like, man, how does that one go? What's going to happen? I feel like the rule set probably...
There might be a knee cut pass attempt. Yeah. I'm guessing there will be at least one knee cut pass.
Well, yeah, one of those basic knee cuts, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, but I do feel like probably the rule set is going to affect that match a little bit.
I agree, unfortunately.
You know, but obviously, man, that's a huge match. Number 1 and number 2.
8 of these 15 girls, not Brazilian.
Non-Brazilian, very strong non-Brazilian contingent here in the pound for pound. I think that shows up a lot more. That shows up the most in women's no-gi for whatever reason. Gi rankings, men, I feel like you end up seeing a few more non-Brazilians. Women in the no-gi, you end up seeing a few more non-Brazilians for whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, Australia, Wales, and then going down to like a run of Brazil there, then 7, 8, 9, USA, Canada, USA, and then back down towards the end, we have USA, USA, and then Spain at the end with Annabelle Lopez. So yeah.
100%. Slack, why don't we go to 155 women's? Because that's a new ranking. So we've added in the last couple editions, I think 3 new rankings. Men's 195 pounds. Slack, I'm adding a stopwatch on the bottom of this video.
What are you trying to add in?
I was going to add in a dream match. I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go back to the women's pound for pound. Let's do a dream match.
No problem.
Gabby Pisania versus Maisa Bastos. That's my dream match. That's my pound for pound.
Do you want it no-gi or in the gi?
Probably in the gi, to be honest. But hey, we can do no-gi as well.
Maybe both?
Yeah, let's do both. Sure.
Maisa gets to wear a gi. And Gabby has to wear a gi, and Maisa
can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, exactly. The reason that Gabby, by the way, is so low is just from lack of resume, right?
Yeah, this is no-gi again.
Yeah,
right?
This is no-gi. She comes into no-gi worlds. She beats almost exclusively women that she's much larger than, including Brianna St. Marie. But I just need to see more from her before I can rocket her up. Everybody knows Gabby's the best. She's the queen. Super, super dominant in every grappling thing that I've ever seen her do. But the gold medal does not just get you the ranking. You have to beat certain people. She just hasn't beaten those people. She hasn't faced those people yet in no-gi.
Got to see Helena versus kind of all of these names as well.
100%. That's the one person who, like, whoever comes out of this Adele-Ffion thing, the number 1 pound for pound spot, that's the person who really is chasing it, I think, is Helena is that, like, next coming person. And Slack, let's go over to 100. Do we have any more?
Women's 155
right here.
Women's 155. There we go. Helena is our youngest number 1 that I've ranked, at least personally, 18 years old, recently 18 years old. She beat Annabelle Lopez, and I've taken the decision to rank her number 1 in the world at 155 pounds. The only losses that we're really talking about with her are the Mo Black loss at East Coast Trials, which she then avenged in pretty good fashion at West Coast Trials, and then the loss to Anna Carolina, which is reflected at 145 pounds. Anna Carolina has competed at 155 pounds. She had like an ADXC match, I think, but she's just not active enough for me to really put her number 1 like I have at 145 pounds. Helena is active. She submits everybody. She's absolutely owned this series with Aurelie Laverne, for example, that I felt like it was appropriate to put her number 1 at women's 155 pounds.
This is another nuts one. 12 non-Brazilians in this ranking.
There you go.
About that.
There you go. Shout out to, we added this ranking, women's 155. We added men's 220, and we added men's 195 because I was getting really tired of having to figure out how the minus 88, which is 195 pounds, and the minus 99, which is 220, how they fit into like 185 pound ranking or a 205 pound rankings. Like I would get done with like minus 99 at ADCC trials and be like, I guess this guy's really more of an 85 guy.
Are you addicted to ranking?
I'm really.
You're just creating more and more things.
I'm
to
at
rank.
home on Tier Maker, just like well, no, this is S class. This is this. Yeah, I do quite a bit of rankings for FloGrappling.
Nice.
Should we jump into some tiers?
Well, Ann Svedson is representing the Dallas Mavericks. That's incredible.
All right.
Or Logan Paul's clothing brand. I don't know which.
Mavericks?
Or
Mavs.
Jiu-Jitsu
Oh,
gym.
Mavs. Gotcha.
No, that's John Thomas's place.
Yeah, Espen.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Espen and them. Yeah, it's like
I was just kidding.
It's not a gym; it's an association. They tried to explain to me one time. I did not understand the distinction, but shout out to them. More power to those
Right
those
on.
Euro boys.
Yeah, for sure. Is that what's up next in our structured
Basically, yeah.
format? All right, let's dive into our next segment here in our structured show of the millennium. We're gonna bring back the tier maker. All right, everybody had a lot of fun with old Nicky Ryan whenever we tier ranked the best submissions, and so we're bringing it back this time to tier rank the best guards in Jiu-Jitsu. All right, we got a lot of fun ones up here. So just an overview: we got seated versus standing, reverse close guard, we got collar sleeve, spider, looks like single leg X, a bunch of stuff, and we're gonna go through all of them and we're gonna rank these. If you guys aren't familiar with tier makers or tier rankings, S is the cream of the crop, the best of the best. You can't have anything better than S tier. That's the best. And then it kind of goes down in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D. Probably a lot of you at home familiar with the F category because I've seen your report cards, dude. And mommy ain't happy, dude. You better race home to the mailbox, try to snag that thing before your mom picks it up, and start just forging grades on there. But
Well, she's got to sign it too, and that's tough. To
F's
forge
turned to
it.
B's though. F's turned into B's pretty quick if you know what you're doing.
And
Yeah.
C's get degrees.
My man.
All right, let's dive into
So
this. Where you
I
guys
don't
want
think
to
they
start?
use F's anymore in school. I feel like it's all like you just get like a thumbs down.
Yeah,
Thumbs
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
It's
No,
either
no
pass or
pat on the
fail.
back.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna need some of your guys' help with these photos.
For
So I'm
sure.
trying to make all
So
these
like,
out.
what's our perspective here? This is just like
How good they are to
our
play,
favorite, our
like-
favorite guards. If like you're a white belt, these are the guards you should be playing.
Like in
or
general,
I
this
think-
guard is better than this guard for like across the field.
I don't know. I guess we could set criteria to them to judge them, but that's a little too structured for even our structured show.
I
Oh,
picture
right.
it's like the strongest guards that have the most
Yeah.
successful resumes. Like
Maybe
you
it-
see these played with
maybe-
success time and time again.
Yeah, so maybe not just our favorite,
Right.
because that's a little too much of our own personal game involved, which nobody wants, to deal with in the training room, that is. Oh, come on.
Got him
All right,
again.
But so maybe it's like, guards that at a higher percentage or have a higher likelihood to lead to submission, lead to a sweep, or like, some sort of, I guess, a sweep into positional dominance. I'm not sure.
Or submission.
So obviously, yeah, this is just our dumb opinions.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter.
But
So make sure to yell at us a whole bunch in the comments. How could we possibly put this one instead of this one?
What the heck is this? Your Slack's going rogue? He's just grabbing like
Oh,
homie
do we go
control
in
or
order?
something?
We go in order?
Well, we gotta pick what
I'm
That's
we
just making
close
sure I
guard. That's
understand
close
how
guard.
to
Okay,
steer
close
this
guard.
thing.
Could we want to just start with close guard? Should we get this thing?
I
Yeah,
feel
sure.
like we have to start with close
Close guard's
guards.
S tier.
S tier.
Easy.
Close guard's
S
S tier.
Yeah.
S tier.
Easy
Even
S
though,
tier.
like, it can be a little bit of a stalling position, but honestly, that's not even a bad thing.
Nah, dude, that's as close guard is as jujitsu as it gets.
Honestly,
Jiu-Jitsu
I feel
doesn't
like we need to
exist.
bring close guard back.
It's kind of
I feel
bad.
like
I'm right
people
there
are.
with
Yeah,
you.
it's kinda
Slack.
back.
I'm right there with you.
I kind of agree is that outside passing has gotten so good at at the level that we see a lot, which is the professional level, that I'm seeing more and more guys play close guard because they need to slow down the guy who's moving around so much. It's a lot of double sleeve and it's a lot of close guard.
Who's out there playing close guard? I see a lot of
Brianna St. Marie.
BSM. Adele plays close guard. Who else is playing close guard these days?
Victor Hugo.
Victor Hugo plays a lot of close guard. Even
Yeah.
Marigali will play around with a lot of close guard. Mika plays a lot of really good close guard.
True. Who doesn't play close guard?
Yeah, no, I mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
we're seeing it all the time.
Those kind of the first
At the
names
highest
that come
level.
to me. Do you have any more?
No, that's. I mean, obviously, yeah. You got Roger and Shanji and those
Right.
guys that kind of really popularized it. But yeah, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head anymore. But I'm sure there's a bunch of others guys who are playing close guard.
That one does feel like an easy no debate. It applies in no gi, it applies in the gi, it applies in a street fight. Like close guard is the
MMA,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so then we go from close guard to reverse close guard.
Right.
All right,
And
let's do
let's
it.
just go
That's
ahead and
the sec-
throw it into
that's the
S tier.
second one there.
Let's go ahead and
this
throw it into
one?
S tier.
F
Oh, is
tier.
it reverse close
It's
guard,
the
right?
second one right there. You actually
Owen
think it's
Jones
F?
here?
I'm going F tier. I vote F tier reverse
No
close
way.
guard.
So reverse close guard, super safe. You cannot be attacked back.
Unless
You can't attack a submission, but you can also just get caught up in a position where you're both in reverse close guard, and it looks super gay. Let's be honest. Like it's straight up
Super
like
G.
I got stuck up there with somebody, and like it was just truly like you read so many memes about like, oh, jiu-jitsu is just you and your friends want to go and hug each other
Reason
and
to
just
hug the
cuddle.
boys.
And like it's like, no, bro, we're in there fighting, and then you get stuck in reverse close guard. It's like, damn, if any of my ops grabbed a photo of this moment, I would never live this down. It is tough.
all right, I got an idea.
So where are we
then.
putting this thing?
I think we should maybe add a new row and just call it G. and put reverse close guard there.
I'm gonna keep it.
I actually put it A tier. I put it A tier because
No way.
it's newer. There's a couple great submissions. I think that we're seeing people using it at the highest level. Nobody's quite figured out how to beat it yet, except for how to stop it by putting the other
Hinzo
person
showed
in.
it to Roger Gracie.
Okay, like it is a guard.
I just thought that was a cool
It
line
is
to
a
say.
guard. I'll concede that.
All right, we have an
but
F and we have an A. Where are you guys going?
I
Where
said
we going?
G.
I'm gonna keep it on.
I'll
F.
concede with G.
F, dude. No way.
Can we get to like a B or a C maybe? Can I argue you guys up to a B or a C?
All right, we can
How
put-
do you feel about how does like there being dudes who are hyper specialized in it and do it on the highest levels? Does
William
that
Tackett
bump it
hit it
up?
on J-Rod.
Yeah, William Tackett, Owen Jones, Abraham.
You telling me Abraham has an F level?
Hey, I'm saying like it's a guard. It is a guard that things can happen in. But if we're ranking them,
Like if there were just a bunch of blue belts busting this out in the training room, it'd get ugly fast. I can do that. Move it up to D for now, and we'll come back to it.
I'll
Slack.
concede to C. I'll concede to C. You can put it in C.
Nikki says D. Our producer says D. Who doesn't do
All right,
jiu-jitsu.
And so
all right,
Nikki's-
we can go
Nikki's
to
got
D.
the final
we can go to
say.
D.
Yeah.
We can go to D.
All right. What do we want to
Which
look
honestly,
at next?
if we're gonna pick a G enough tier, kind of D.
All right. Should we go? Is that turtle guard you have down
Yep,
there? The
turtle.
bottom most right one, bottom row farther to the right. Turtle guard. I think that's F.
That's F. Turtle sucks. What are we talking about, right? You cannot get points from it. You are getting beat up. Every turtle guy, little bit of an unusual, walks to their own beat. You know what I mean?
It's like unless you're Eduardo Tellis,
Unless
I
you're
don't
Eduardo
know.
Tellis.
What do you think?
A tier. I think A.
No way. No way.
This guy's a contrarian.
No, for
You're getting
sure.
cut from the podcast.
You know-
Put it in the structured rundown. No more read.
I think like we all play turtle guard much more than we all play
By choice?
reverse close guard.
I'm in turtle. I wouldn't call myself playing turtle guard.
yeah.
Hey, Nikki, cut the Slack real quick. Look how not into this Slack is. Dude is not having fun over there.
I'm just steering, man.
What do you think, Slack?
No, I agree. It should be F.
All right.
No offense to Eduardo.
Yeah, turtle sucks.
I don't feel like
as
if
the
you
one-
have a
It's not
system
even a
for it,
guard.
that's great. But in this universal approach, I don't feel like it's a guard.
As the one guy on the team who's rolled with Eduardo Tellez, maybe,
Dangerous, huh?
yeah, like he'll mess you up with it for sure. You know,
It is a position.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're saying with reverse close guard, like, yeah, stuff can happen,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Can we demonstrate the positions Nikki is asking? No,
we
yeah,
don't have
Nikki,
time
come
for
on in
that.
here and we'll
Hey,
be
brother,
sure to.
we're not doing reverse close guard for you, you freak. All right? So quit
What about
asking.
so is this here? So this is just open guard. This
Yep.
next one at the bottom left here.
open guard,
Like seated
Yeah.
versus
Seated
standing?
versus
standing.
Seated guard, I guess.
Yes, a little seated
open guard, yeah.
I think seated guard like a C, just like a run of the mill, like we're just
Sort
kind of
of a
starting the
neutral
round.
position.
Yeah, super neutral. I can do some cool stuff. You can do some cool stuff. So like a C or a D.
It's like a bridge before you actually get connection and apply your guard of choice, right?
I'm gonna say D. I actually feel like a D would be appropriate here because you have no connection. You don't have a good guard. You have the potential to do good shit.
Yeah.
Right. Which compared to like a closed guard is like you're just doing good shit.
But I feel like it's just such a common guard. Like you kind of have to be good at something open guard style wise because like it's just so common to be in this position. So I feel like I'll go C. I like,
We can bump it to C.
I like
Let's
C.
bump
I
to
like
C.
C.
Let's bump to C.
All right.
C's good. Show the yeah. There we go. All right. So we got an S, we got a C, a D, and an F. Let's throw maybe I guess a more complicated one into the mix of where I don't know how this would rank necessarily. How about like K guard? That's K guard, the second one.
With Lachlan there, yeah.
Yeah. K guard is it's kind
Honestly,
of
I'd
part
probably
of the
put it
new
up
meta.
there, yeah.
I think it's an A guard. I think that this is a position that so many elite people are relying on. You look at a guy like Pato, how much of his game is just the K guard and the pulling the leg over. I think it's like kind of a necessity to really understand this position. I'm not going to quite put it S tier. I think this is an A tier guard.
Yeah, it does feel like everyone currently has a really good A guard if they're competing at the highest level.
K guard.
Or K guard, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Reed?
No, I agree that K guard should be A tier, to be honest. Like that's one where you can really start messing people up if you're good at this one.
Look at Mateusz. We were just talking about Mateusz, and who's mastered K guard more than that guy.
What are you playing from K guard, Reed? What are you doing from there?
It's not one of mine. It's not one of my go-to guards, to be honest.
Bear trap.
I've tried to kind of
Bear trap's good.
take a lot of the inversions out of my game. So
Yeah,
Smart man.
old hurt neck boy.
Pulling shit over
Some,
to like
some
an X
Matrix,
guard.
some Matrix shit. I feel like that's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
fun. Just
Shout
throwing
out
that
to
other leg around.
Gio Martinez. He plays a lot of bear trap out of this. And if you train with him at Oceanside, this is like any day of the week. He's probably teaching a bunch of transitions from K guard to bear trap, all that kind of stuff.
I like
That's
the
dope.
key master a little bit more, which is not on here, I guess. But
What's the subtle difference?
Similar.
You don't. I think it's you don't have the hands connected around the leg, right? Is that?
I feel like it's like you attack the opposite leg.
Oh yeah, true.
But
Yeah, all right. A tier K guard. Any other alphabetical guards we should throw in there?
X
Or-
guard.
Got
Yeah,
X
all
guard.
right, X guard.
I love X guard. X guard is one of the coolest.
Yeah, to me-
I'm
to me
like
this is-
potential S.
yeah,
It could be an
Pretty
S. It's at
solidified.
least an A. You're way under the person. They have very little they can do to you offensively. You are always able to launch into a good submission with the ankle lock. You can get to the back.
Off balancing is so easy in X
So
guard.
easy.
you can get to other guards there from X guard. There's so many options to play from X guard. I feel like
I want to take other guards and get to X guard. I feel like once I get to X guard, it's like I'm scoring or like I'm going to make a big thing happen from here.
I think maybe like a clarifying thing is like we're not talking about X guard that's being poorly done, where someone just like steps over your legs and like you're.
we're talking about Nicholas Marigali's X guard.
Yeah,
or
we're
like-
talking about Marcelo Garcia's X guard.
yeah,
Like people
yeah.
who have very good X guards. If you have a very good X guard, like that is tough, dude.
That's all you need, kind of like you
Yeah.
kind of don't need anything else sometimes. Like
Let's go S tier.
I like S tier for X guard, to be honest.
Speaking of which, we got some butterfly guard here.
Some Adam
Butterfly
Morgan.
guard.
That
all
feels
right,
like an
let's talk
easy
about
S
it.
right here.
So this is another like kind of early.
Easy S, Slack says.
I don't know.
You play a
brother.
lot of butterfly.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
One of my main sweeps is the easy butterfly sweep.
So obviously, if butterfly's being played really well, you're Marcelo Garcia, and you're
Well, we
killing
just
everybody.
established that,
You're
right?
Adam
I felt like,
Wardzinski.
yeah.
Adam
I
Wardzinski.
was-
You're killing everybody.
That's like I think so with X guard. There's a lot of people who have a really good X guard, and everyone who, if you're using a good X guard, good stuff's happening. I feel like butterfly is not as common for like everyone doesn't have. It's more of a. It feels like more of a specialist guard to me. I
Guess
don't
I
know.
spoke too
Like,
soon.
obviously Marcelo. Yeah,
I'm trying to get back
Stop having
involved.
fun
S
over there,
guard.
dude.
I mean, S tier.
But I don't know. That
I
we
think
could
it's
be
an A.
wrong. We don't know anything, Slack.
I don't think it's an S because I don't think it's as inherently powerful as something like a closed guard or
Yeah,
an
that's
X
probably
guard,
fair.
where you can get your butterfly guard kind of shut down in a way where
Like
like if
somebody locks their hands, like it's like
True.
shit.
it's trouble. Yeah, or you get put on your back or something. Like there are some conditions you have to like really check your boxes with. Where
That's
I feel
fair.
like in like closed guard or something, it's like nah, bro, I'm just winning.
But every now and again, you run into somebody in the gym who's just like really good at butterfly, and it kind of does just throw you for a loop a little bit. We're like, man, like I got to deal with this butterfly guard. He's so sticky. Like,
Sticky hooks.
It's no doubt one of the most annoying guards to deal with.
I'm saying an A. I'm not like yeah.
No, we're just talking through it.
Yeah.
Like I fell victim to it in competition when I went to Euros. I got butterfly swept into mount, popped the rib. It sucked. So it's like it's an incredibly dangerous thing, but I just feel like it's not as widely dangerous as a lot of these guards. But I don't know.
That's
then
fair.
you watch Adam Wardzinski,
Yeah.
and it's like, God
Or
tier.
Marcelo.
Yeah, or Marcelo. I would go A or B, but I don't know. Where are you at, Reed?
yeah, I'm sticking with A. I like
right.
A tier for it because like it is honestly a fundamental guard too. To be honest, in jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm going to come through and hit you guys with some butterfly guard.
Oh,
initially.
hell
That's what I'm going to do.
Big Slack Barrett with the butterfly. You might be
Oh, are you?
Butterfly Barrett from here on out.
Are you gonna do that?
I'm going to, yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
at
we
least-
just went from I'm gonna do that to we'll see real quick. I just want I'm kidding.
No doubt, Slack. If you start playing Butterfly on me, bro, you will get me at some point. I am not great at defending
Ever since we
Butterfly.
got back from Euros and from training with Adam Wardzinski, I have
Yeah.
been definitely trying to play butterfly a lot more. So
I
play butterfly all the time. I love it.
I just and this is just like me admitting to my flaws and whatever, my shortcomings, but like
that's why we're here.
I just do not maintain sticky hooks in butterfly. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but like I just don't. It's simple as that. I can have very sticky hooks in like X guard. I like deep De La Riva a lot. That's one of my favorite guards, and I'm like really sticky in those, but like not in butterfly. Like I don't know.
I've been told that
it's core strength.
Yeah. Well, my core is incredibly strong.
It might be the front of your calves. I've been told that muscle that's here in the front of your calf has to be like
can't be
really,
that.
I got a huge muscle in the front.
Yeah, it can't be that. Zoom in, Nikki.
Speaking of which, so here we got regular De La Riva here.
Let's see who's
right.
We gotta stop giving away the feet for free.
Dude, just genetically insane
S-tier,
front of calves. All right.
Yeah, it must just be you're mentally weak or something. Then.
You have mentally is a different story.
I'm kidding.
So you have up now. You're grabbing De La Riva.
Yeah, just because you mentioned it.
It's just fun identifying guards too. It's so fun, dude. If you're a jiu-jitsu fan and you don't love just looking at a picture and be like, De La Riva, how do I like that one? Then you don't really like jiu-jitsu that much. I don't know. But De La Riva, I don't know.
I think like a B. I think that this is you're getting better connection. That you can off balance pretty well. Some people are obviously super sick nasty with it. To me, this is like a good solid B guard. What do you guys think?
Reed?
Yeah, no, definitely another kind of just like fundamental guard for jiu-jitsu. I feel like you kind of got to have a good De La Riva game, especially against somebody who likes to pass from the outside or likes to stand and pass. So I agree, B tier.
And then is this supposed to be reverse De La Riva here? What is
this?
Yeah,
that's reverse.
So where do you guys
cool
put
to
that?
have a move named after you, but it's like I was like years into jiu-jitsu before I found out De La Riva was named after a guy.
Oh, real guy.
You know what I mean?
As the sole member who is trained with De La Riva here, maybe.
Dang,
yeah, you don't know who I'm trained
with Ricardo De La Riva. What?
You don't know who I'm trained with. I have not, but yeah.
De La Riva is, I feel like, great for connecting other guards as well. And like you said, it's like, well, this isn't going as planned. I should get De La Riva and like slow things down, start off balancing, Great for that. Reverse De La Riva, I play reverse De La Riva more than De La Riva, though, to be honest.
It's great for wrestle ups.
Yeah, it's just like feels like a solid position, I also play a lot of half guard, so, kind of lazy guy jiu-jitsu. What do you guys think of reverse De La Riva, though?
I think it is every bit up there with De La Riva, maybe a little bit ahead, because in a lot of modern metas, it kind of... The De La Riva and the Barambola were there, and then after that, we saw the wave of reverse De La Riva and that Kiss of the Dragon roll that everybody was doing. I would put it... If we had like a B+, I would probably put it B+. I don't know if I would put it all the way into an A, so I'm going to stick with a B.
Reverse De La Riva is kind of like a gateway into leg entries as well, right?
For sure.
So
super common one.
I say C tier, to be honest. I say B-.
Just slightly
less than the De La Riva.
Less than normal?
I'm actually like, you talked about how like your De La Riva hook, my reverse De La Riva hook, I can hook from De La Riva, but my reverse De La Riva hook is very weak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have a stronger reverse De La Riva hook than I have De La Riva, so.
Interesting. All right, I guess I got to whip out my...
yeah. But I think it's just more, the rest of the game I play.
Right. I feel like it's a guard that like kind of like relies a lot on your partner kind of putting you
like
there.
They have to kind of step to the side in there.
Yeah,
That's
it's like they
interesting.
kind of have to like put themselves into reverse De La Riva almost. And like it is like a guard where you're like you are feeling the pressure, like you are feeling like you're getting smashed a little bit.
It's like, bro, you don't have that arm support under, and it's like, okay, well, this is bad. But
what's interesting is like I personally, if I'm ever in this position where the photo is, that's not a good place to be, obviously, because this reverse De La Riva is already broken down.
Yeah, he's putting you flat on your back a little bit.
But I play it as one of my main go-tos from an open guard position is to apply reverse De La Riva and immediately sit up, put the arm through onto the other leg, grab the heel, and stand up as a wrestle up.
Right.
And it's one of my most consistent like position reversals. I learned that also from Gio Martinez. Like that was one of his main wrestle up positions is from a reverse. So I actually think it's a pretty solid if you choose to play it. But as soon as like you're saying, if you just end up in that position and you do not keep the hips away from you, then you are just going to get passed, in my opinion. I don't know. It's not a very good position.
So you're on B tier then?
I think it should be just right next to De La Riva, honestly, but I put it kind of one ahead just because I feel like there's a lot of wrestling up and leg lock entries you can do from that.
That's where I'm at too. Like it's a little better than De La Riva, but I don't want to put it all the way up.
I'm a little on Reed's C tier thing, and I'll make one more statement, and then we can decide, I guess, on where it should solidify. I think if you're and this is, a good application of the technique, but not like a bad one. But definitely there's a more likely chance, if you're not just a freak beast of a jiu-jitsu guy, that you're passing someone's reverse De La Hiva much easier than you're passing their De La Hiva.
True.
Also true.
But not really an off balancing as there is, but not as much of an off balancing component. I feel like with reverse, so that's why I would maybe say C. But I'm cool with B or C. Most of these should fall in B or C because that's how that's where
most jiu-jitsu
a bell
happens,
curve.
yeah.
As breaking out my freaking stats class I took at
How about
Hutchinson
deep
Community
half?
College. What's this one?
Deep half, right?
Deep half.
Deep half, I'm putting high up. I think deep half is an awesome guard. Obviously, as one of the guys who's trained with Bernardo Faria, I don't know if anybody else.
I'm training with Bernardo.
All right, as I said, one of the guys. I accurately. I think that deep half is super strong. Just like X guard, you're under the person and able to off balance them pretty well as long as you know what you're doing. I think that I've said it before. Anyone over 200 pounds should have a deep half in their game. I think that it is just so useful for connecting to the person, and you can end up there from so many different positions.
Dude, a while ago, I was training at open mat, and Trey, you said to me after we rolled, you were like, "What you need to do, man, is gain like 40 pounds and start playing deep half guard, and then you'll fit in around here."
What great advice for me.
Great advice for me to excel at my gi game is gain 40 pounds, start playing deep half guard.
Well, because I feel like
you
you enter stuff like that a lot. Now I realize because you're a reverse De La Hiva guy, maybe or something. But like, you just play it, and then I'm just kind of like, all right, I guess I'm going to smash slack into deep half now.
So how's gaining 40 pounds and learning deep half going?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
So where do you put it then, Slack?
I don't feel like it's an S tier.
No.
Like, I guess I would put it.
I have a tier that Joe might not like.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't like to be in this position. Like as a small guy, this is code red for me. So I'm probably not the guy to ask.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Bernardo is incredible at it. Who else plays
Glover.
deep? Glover. Everybody else play deep?
There's a lot of dudes who bust out deep half, kind of, I don't think it's a part of any current meta or anything, but definitely is like a tried and true guard that you've seen throughout the years. I think C is my kind of take, because I do think it's like, I don't know, maybe for a lot of people, if you can avoid getting here, like avoid it first and then,
Okay,
it feels
enough.
to me
Adam
like
Bradley has an unreal deep half. I think
true.
Dom Bell, pretty nasty deep half. Obviously, like if you're really good at a waiter sweep and you get into this position, like there's a good chance you're sweeping that guy,
100%.
or at least like sweeping to a scramble.
Waiters are totally different. Yeah,
Yeah.
once you get to
I
a
feel like
waiter.
Mateus Gabriel kind of like killed deep half for me once everybody started doing that black hole meta type stuff.
That's kind of how I feel.
Like I see a lot of people kind of like scooting that corner and trying to get the triangle.
We were also
on
there
deep
for
half.
a Michael Lange class where he just like dissected deep half kind of nonstop the whole class, and I was like, oh wow, I guess there are a lot of ways to just get owned in deep half. But there's obviously a lot of good things to do for it as well. But that's why I kind of put it as that C. C is not a bad ranking. C is just like a very average good. Like this is like a fundamental thing to do and use, But it's like nothing crazy is happening off of it. It's not too dangerous, but I don't know. That's why I'm C.
If the room is feeling a C, I'm not going to get in the way of that. To me, this is a very, very fundamentally effective guard once you lock into the position.
I guess my thing, and I don't want to harp on it, is the only thing that you can do from here is sweep, right?
Yeah, you're not
So
attacking the
that
last
does
position. Or
like
take the
to me
back.
like that has like a fundamental impact on what the guard is like
Yeah.
useful for. And if the only thing that you can do is sweep, and otherwise you're in a very bad
you
position,
can
frankly.
get to a lot of leg locks there if you are playing it.
Yeah.
What does Gracie
I guess.
University say about this?
Yeah, I don't
one?
want to
Is
get
this bad
too
for-
Gracie University about
I'm
it, but I
kidding.
don't know. I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm cool with C if you guys are. What's next so we can keep it moving?
Let's cruise right here to the old one of my least
Spider
favorite
lasso.
things about jiu-jitsu.
Bah, drop it down. I think that Spider Lasso, probably is like a C.
Or just like Spider Guard. I think let's just
Are we just doing
Yeah,
Spider
let's
Guard?
just do Spider Guard.
Let's just
for
call
this
it
one.
Spider Guard.
Yeah.
All right. To
Everybody's least favorite part of trying to pass someone's guard.
To me, it's just so much of a, maybe it should be a little bit, I don't think it's a D because it is like you can lock into some pretty good submissions. We do see people who are very good at it. But this guard is so synonymous with stalling for me right now that it's tough to put it any higher. I know it's super common and it's super useful for all these things, but it is boring to watch so many people playing Spider Guard and trying to just shut down the fight over and over again that I am going to knock it for that.
For me, man, this is like my 10th planet colors are going to show a little bit here, but like There's something for me about like the absolute dependency on the gi for this guard that to me just like knocks it down some points. Obviously,
I can see that.
It's just like all about sleeves, and if you don't have sleeves, the guard doesn't exist. And to me, that's like that takes some points away.
But talk about a guard that can just control your opponent,
and it's
like
fun.
Like
dude.
it is like the guard that can control. Like you have two grips.
Deep half will control you. What are you talking about? No, I'm kidding.
Sure. No, but I feel like I feel like your point on like how everybody plays it kind of just like makes it move up a little bit, where it's like it is so a part of like competition meta. It's such an important guard to have in competition.
I agree, but I'm just knocking it because it's boring.
Yeah.
But you look at a guy like Homo Bahal, who kind of like pioneered a lot of the attacks in Spider Guard, and he was submitting people left and right with arm bars and stuff like that.
So many arm bars, so many triangles you can set up from Spider Guard. Like, it is an incredible position to off balance people. Like I do think you can create a bunch of off balance with Spider. I'm
going A tier, to be honest.
Really?
I'm going A tier.
I'm agreeing with everything you're saying.
I know.
That should really let you know how much I'm knocking it down for just the level of boring that
To
I
be
feel
honest,
like it's
I think a
introducing.
lot of the boring stuff comes when people go from Spider to double lasso or to like Spider
double
lasso.
lassos.
So it's
Or
kinda
just
like,
sit in Spider,
So it's like,
right?
yeah, I wouldn't even put double lasso on this ranking list because it's like, yeah, double lasso is to me an absolute stalling position. Like you cannot do something from double lasso. Both of your legs are now tied up. But with Spider, it's like you are doing stuff in Spider. And people who play Spider and like use it well, it's fun to watch, I think. Like, I think it's cool a little bit. It's like you're an ultimate puppeteer when you're playing Spider. This is obviously, like Slack said, his 10th Planet influence. I train with Beto Oliveira a lot of it. As the only guy who's training with Beto Oliveira, he has a nasty Spider guard.
Let's all
and it's
produce
like,
our lists of the people.
yeah. But it's just like, it's cool. And it's like, for some reason, there's nothing I love more than being in the gym and just grabbing both of the other guy's sleeves. I'll do it when I'm passing too, just for funsies. And just like, I have both your sleeves and you don't get them back. Like, it's like, these are mine now, and I'll just like run around people's guards, like making them cross their own arms and stuff for fun. Shout out Ray. Ray catching a stray there. But so I don't know. I think maybe with the whole consensus, we could drop it to like B. Or I'm cool with B or C, to be honest. I know you want the A. So
I'm thinking A tier, but
will you
Can we
concede a
agree to
B?
a B?
I'll concede to a B
right.
tier, but we're putting it in front of Reverse De La Hiva.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah, oh shit. Okay.
I'm not gonna get too into
All right,
it.
let's keep it moving, baby. Let's keep it moving. What do we got next?
This is single leg X. To
Sick
me,
one.
right up there with, I kind of wasn't thinking this is that much different than X guard. Maybe a little bit harder to off balance, but you do also have the outside heel hook right there, which is super clutch. To me, this is like an A.
I agree.
Slack?
A tier.
A
I think
tier it is?
another just fundamental guard that you kind of, especially for no gi, like single leg X. There's so many options, so many places to go from there. So
We are differentiated. We are putting X guard in S tier and single leg X in A tier. I think that's fair. Do you guys think that's fair?
Yeah, I think X guard edges out single leg X just
Just
a
you have
little
both
bit.
legs,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Completely under the person at that point.
What am I looking at here?
This is half butterfly. It looks like.
I think I was just going for half guard right here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what were you going for?
Yeah, I was just going for half guard right
Yeah.
here. I just grabbed a couple quick
All right,
screenshots.
half guard.
Half guard.
Got to put this one pretty high. I feel like I would start out with like a B or an A. You know what I mean? So we have to talk about half guard. Half guard can be weird because half guard you could be getting so fucked up and so smashed and so killed in your half guard. So we are just talking about like the offensive half guard. You're trying to fuck this person up. They're not smashing you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. I think like an A or a B. If somebody wanted to say S.
I wouldn't go S.
I wouldn't go S. I could understand somebody trying to go S on this. I would go like an A or a B.
What do you think, Reed?
I'm going S.
Really?
To be honest, I am.
Man, I'm kind of right
I love
there
how
with
everyone's games are sort of like coming to light here. I'm like, Spider guard,
But to be
half
honest,
guard, deep half guard.
Honestly, I was a huge deep half guard guy for the longest time. So like I played deep half guard all the time, and like as a blue belt, I remember sweeping people. Like it was like one of my go-to guards.
It's one of the strongest positions you can get to.
Yeah, so I do have an affinity for deep half, but I don't know. But I do play a lot of half guard as well. But I think everybody plays a lot of half guard.
Yeah,
to be
Everybody's
honest.
true. Half.
Like
It's like back to the whole like if you're not actively using it like offensively and going into it, pulling half guard and like setting up all your stuff, it's a great things aren't going great for me right now. Let me get into a half guard, really solidify some control, and then I'll start working from there. I also think like all the variations of half guard do make it pretty elite. Like you start playing coyote, you start playing like
half butterfly,
half
some
butterfly.
lockdown
It's
can
like
be
there's a
helpful.
lot of great stuff you can do from.
It's an avenue to get into close guard. It's an avenue to get into X guard. Like there's just so
Bunch
many
of submissions.
options. Yeah. So many submissions
Take
from
it back.
it. So
I think A. I don't know if it gets the clear outright S still. And this is what
I'm kind of getting convinced it's an S tier guard.
This is my number one played guard, to be honest. I specifically love Coyote. I love playing Coyote, but I would still put it in A. I don't know. You think it should be up there with like X guard?
I'm fine. I'm fine with A, but I
Honestly, if close guard's up there, I feel like half guard
we
is
could
as
put
good
it
as
in
close guard.
This is why I'll say A, because of close guard. Close guard, they have to pass both your legs. Like it's like if they pass your close guard, you immediately
Okay.
get to start playing half
Okay.
guard. And so it's like boom, that's the next step is your A tier guard. You have your S tier close. They are starting to break it down. So boom, let me go into my A, and then
All
try
right.
to reset it up. And a lot of times you're just going to go back into close guard from there once you like get the opportunity. So
Since going from half guard to close guard is an upgrade,
Yeah.
it makes sense that I would put it in an A tier.
Okay.
all right.
How about sit up?
Sit up
guard. All right. I think this one is a little bit lower on the list.
This is a tough one to place, to be honest. I feel like.
Yeah.
So sit up guard, I feel like we see it smashed a lot. I feel like it's kind of it's a guard that you progress to, right? From a De La Hiva or reverse De La Hiva or something. But I feel like if somebody is trying to play sit up guard, not the best situation usually for any kind of long term thing. I'm going to put it lower on the list, right? We don't see a lot of sit up guard players. I'm going to put this at like a C or a D.
Who plays sit up guard? Adam Wardzinski.
Wardzinski does. He's the best at it right now. Lucas Lepre had a really good sit up guard back in the day. Those are the two guys that I think of when I think of sit up guard. I think it's a little bit lower on the list, to be honest. Me personally.
Trey, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I personally don't play a ton of sit up guard. I think maybe I should. I think I should start diving into it more. I could see C, especially because like C is the that should be the most commonly placed category, C or B. So yeah, I'm kind of into C.
Saki on board?
Yeah, I'm down with that. How about worm guard?
Or lapel guard? That's kind of what I was
lapel
going.
guard in
Lapel
general.
guard.
Okay.
Just in
Well, you gonna
general.
bust out
Worm guard.
your boring take on this one?
Talk about boring guards here.
I think that this is different than what I said before.
I disagree with the thing I was saying earlier.
I think that the lapel guard, I think that what makes the lapel guard so boring is a lot of times the top person is the one just totally shutting down the action. Whereas a lot more with the double sleeve guard, we see the guard player being the one shutting down the action. I think the lapel guard player usually, not always, but sometimes at least, is the person still hoping to be able to create a better connection and get their lapel guard a little bit deeper in.
What are the more difficult guards probably to
Deal
get into? I feel like just getting into a lapel guard is harder than just getting into a De La Hiva guard, right? It's like there are steps that you have to kind of take.
I kind of think this one is around the reverse close guard thing with me, and similar
agree.
take of like, yeah, it's like if someone who's really good at reverse close guard gets into it, puts you in it, and is like now attacking submissions or whatever, it's like, yeah, it sucks. It's really hard to deal with. You can't do much. If someone puts you in a lapel guard, whether it be worm or whatever, it's like, yeah, this freaking sucks, dude. Like I'm all tangled up. I'm like trying to bite my gi to get it back over on my side, and I don't even know what's going on. It sucks to deal with, but like I don't think it's in like you look at B and C and there's so many like fundamental solid guards across the board that it's like it's hard for me to put it in that category. I do almost feel like it's like a D thing, but I don't know.
I would put it in D, to be honest.
I like C.
C. Joey, you cool with C?
I would put it much higher, but wherever you guys decide
Got
to
a
put it,
bunch
I
of
would be
gi
cool
boys
with
in
it.
here is
Yeah.
what we got.
C
Like,
it
it is a powerful guard. Like it's like if you get in lapel guard, it's like you kind of have all the options open to you, and the other guy kind of has zero options. So
for sure. What's this one with the guy in the red gi?
that's tornado guard. That's
Ooh.
Cyborg hitting the tornado guard.
F.
Don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty specialized guard. Really, the only one who does play it, I feel like, is maybe Roosevelt and Cyborg.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What it turned into, tornado guard just turned into how everybody enters legs now. With that roll inverting underneath, grabbing both legs,
Yeah,
and going to the cross ashi.
But more like a transitional position, not like an actual guard.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an actual guard. What people use it for now. Whereas Cyborg, you can see even here in this photo, if people really want to zoom in, his other leg is out, so he's just kind of using that to windmill kick the other person up over the top, and he does end up on top. And he would hit this on everybody, right?
Yeah.
This was his thing for years. But tornado guard has certainly fallen out of favor. Maybe it needs to come back. Maybe that's the next
Is
wave.
this an F?
I think
I'll
this is
put
an
it-
F.
I'll put it with F.
Yeah.
It is an F, baby. We gotta have some Fs.
This
Collar
is collar
sleeve.
sleeve.
Collar sleeve.
Collar
Go
sleeve.
ahead, Reed. Talk about it.
No, this is a great guard, right? I mean,
100%.
another just powerful guard. Another one, talking about spider guard, where you just have two really solid connections where you're able to control. What are we doing putting it in C
I'm not.
tier?
I'm floating. I'm just letting it
He's floating.
float. Where
You
can see
play
it.
a ton of collar sleeve.
I do like collar sleeve, but I'll put it in B tier.
Hey?
I actually would not be opposed to putting this in an A tier. I think that this is
Yeah.
a really fundamentally powerful guard. You can go to basically any other guard from this position. There's submission opportunities. To me, collar
Scissor
sleeve.
sweep.
Scissor sweep. To me,
Pretty basic.
collar sleeve is like the fundamental gi open guard.
Yeah.
So I would rate it pretty highly.
I'm cool with that.
That happened to me. It's similar experience with you early on in my competition career, where I ran into somebody who just manipulated me so hard from collar sleeve, and I was like, I have to learn
Yeah.
collar sleeve. Like,
Yeah, looking back at the Adam Fix My Game, which will drop soon, we didn't dive into any of the butterfly specifics. We more so looked at his kind of like his sit-up guard, kind of how he does that tripod sweep from there and stuff.
And the arm bar.
Yeah, but we didn't dive too much into the butterfly guard. And selfishly, I should have asked him more about butterfly specifically. I should have asked him, like, why are my sticks, my hooks not sticky, stuff like that. But, you live and you learn. Hopefully we'll get another shot with Adam to learn some more of that. But Slack's moving along here. He's trying to keep us rolling. You got a octopus guard here. Is that what it's
Octopus
supposed to
guard.
be? Octopus or reach around guard?
yeah.
Weird one.
It's a weird one.
I
Deep
love
cut.
I love when Brianna St. Marie does it. I think it's awesome when she does it for sure.
Yeah, obviously
I saw,
Craig.
Shout out a deep cut for you guys. Selma Vick. She's a Norwegian grappler out of Trondheim. She played reverse close guard and octopus guard in the same match at Euros, and I thought it was so dope. I was like, this is nuts, dude. What the heck are they doing in Norway? Just having these crazy guards. She's a brown belt, but she's super cool. You guys should watch her if you haven't at home. But yeah, octopus guard, I don't know. Feels like it's got to be lower.
I feel like it's probably a lower
Yeah, it's
one,
not
right?
like a super.
D tier.
That D tier makes sense. It's kind of it's in that specialist kind of. If you do it, it's like you're probably nasty, but like not a lot of people as a whole are going to be playing this effectively.
You're kind of getting your guard passed if you're
Yeah,
playing
exactly. I
it.
was about to say you're kind of getting smashed already. It probably is not your first option.
Yeah.
A lot of things have gone wrong. You're getting further down the list. So D tier does make some sense.
What do we got here? We got rubber guard and something
Rubber
else.
guard and
Rubber
Williams
guard.
I like how
guard.
it goes from D tier, you're getting your guard passed with octopus guard, and then you just give your back for the F tier turtle. Rubber
Rubber
guard.
guard.
Rubber guard. Go ahead, Slack.
Yeah,
Slack, baby.
Oof.
I know
it's
you gotta
tough
make a
looking at this
decision.
list. I don't play rubber guard, just to be clear. I
Can
don't
you
know,
do it?
it's-
Can you pull the leg up all the way?
I play high guard sometimes, but I've got a couple rubber guard entries that I like.
I've heard a
the
lot of people at
basics.
10th Planet play high guard.
Anyway,
What do you think? What's your gut telling you on this one?
my gut tells me that it kind of fits in D because of it being specialist, but I will say, like, it's such a well-known and championed guard, like compared to, say, like reverse close guard. Like, people really do like make a name for themselves with this guard, so I feel like it could be higher.
It's very controlling. I'll give it that. Like
It's-
it's a super controlling guard.
Because of how specialized it is with the physicality, you need to be a very certain body type and flexibility level to get that. I feel like that has to take it down somewhat as
Yeah.
well. You know what I mean? Pretty much everybody can get to close guard unless you got stumpy little legs or no legs, perhaps. Everybody else is getting there. But rubber guard, you are just only using a certain portion of the population to be able to get there.
I like D tier. I don't feel great about it,
Yeah.
to be honest. But just looking at the list we've compiled here, I think D is the proper place
And then
for
we
it.
got,
but don't kill us.
shout out to
10P.
Sean Williams here, right?
Yep.
Williams guard,
Williams guard.
which is like
Another
a
high
close
guard.
guard, overhook. Yeah, a little bit of a 10th Planet-y kind of thing. I would kind of put that just for a lot of those same reasons. I actually might even, I hate to say it, almost put it F tier because I do kind of want to put it under rubber guard just because it's so much less known.
I
know
think
what
you can
mean?
stick it in the same category.
In the same category.
I will just say, it's like as far as rubber guard goes, like everybody should check out the most introductory basic
I agree.
first steps of rubber guard, honestly. Because like all it is just like a really great place to control your opponent's posture. It's just like a kind of advanced additional step to a close guard that all the like basic intro stuff anybody can play really. It's the really more flexibility based stuff, like for sure. Like I don't even try that because I'll just blow out my knees or whatever. But there's a lot of like basics to it that are like really helpful, especially when you're rolling with like a bigger person.
Are there any guards here that we missed?
Missed?
And any clear, like 50-50, I guess could be on.
50-50 could be on here.
Could be on here. Like,
feel like
Keymaster.
Deep De La Riva, I feel like, you know, I would like to see.
Marigali's
okay.
like Deep De La Riva.
Yeah.
Where would you put Deep De La Riva? Got to be high.
Yeah, I'd go like B, but that's a personal bias as well. I love Deep De La Riva.
I feel like if we put De La Riva B, I feel like we gotta go Deep De La Riva A.
You think it? Oh, because you have more control.
I have more.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I do think if you get into Deep De La Riva, it's like, bro,
That's trouble.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
sweep this guy.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, like getting into Deep De La Riva and sweeping someone from there, like you know, kind of that little overhead Deep De La Riva sweep or whatever, you just look like you know jiu-jitsu when you do that. Like, do that one in front of your girlfriend at home. If she doesn't know what you're really doing, or if she thinks you're a loser, dude, or something, show her a Deep De La Riva overhead sweep, and she'll think you're really cool and hot and like way cooler than all the guys she works with. That's for sure.
What about 50-50? Where would we put that?
Joe?
F tier?
It might be F tier. It might be
Talk
F tier.
about-
Well, are we talking gi or no gi? Because I see this, if I
True,
see two
true.
guys in no gi 50-50, it's like, shit, this match could end, you know, any second if these guys, you know, do their thing. But yeah, compare that to the gi, where obviously it's so much more of a stalling position. It's going to be way down there, probably like an F.
Yeah.
Or any other guards that you feel like we missed?
Ooh boy, nothing's occurring off the top of my head. Unless we want to just like get into like half guard variations. I feel like we put half guard as like a big, you know, kind of a topic.
All encompassing guard.
But there you have it. All right. So to rank our rankings, I would say this is the definitive best guard ranking of all time. No one else has ever ranked guards to this level, this intricately, with this much thought, with this much prowess
And structure.
And so structure, it's an incredibly structured list. So definitely, dude, let us know in the comments. If we didn't include your favorite guard, and if you think for some reason it should be your favorite guard, write us an essay. Do a book report on that guard. Put it in the comments. I'll respond to it, and I'll let you know if I think it's a freaking smash or pass take. But if it's a really good guard, I guess I couldn't do either of those to it. Smash or pass it. But yeah,
Our
definitely.
10 out of 10 smoke show guard of the day.
Yeah. So there you have it. But I think that pretty much wraps up the show. Any closing thoughts?
For me,
I feel like we all became closer throughout this experience.
True.
and I'm
should we
grateful
clap
for
it up?
having
Should we
you.
clap it up?
give it up for this
Clap it
guys.
up for the tier list.
Well,
Wow.
there we go. The tier lists are
Wow.
fun, definitely, you know, so, you know, kind of, you know, as we bridge the gap between events, big events and stuff coming up, I know there are a lot of big ones. We didn't really get into that overall schedule, but, you know, we'll do that on the next one. We kind of want to do more stuff like this, so the fans at home, you know, we want to make a show that you guys want to watch as well, so let us know if you like the tiers. Let us know if there's some things we should rank, we should draft, anything like that we should be doing. But thank you all for watching this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week for the next one.